Today, so very shortly at the end of this week, there will be the Munich Security Conference, and it is being rumored that we will see at least more details on a proposed peace plan for the Russo-Ukrainian war from Donald Trump. However, are we looking at a new Munich agreement? If you know your history, in 1938, Neville Chamberlain, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, he signed a peace agreement with Adolf Hitler, which clearly didn't age very well. He infamously flew back to the UK waving a white piece of paper, which might as well have been a white flag, declaring peace in our time. So are we going to see a repeat of this in terms of a peace plan, ironically being formulated in Munich, Germany? If you're new to this channel, Привет, my name is Connor Klein, I'm an expert in international relations, and I have been living in Ukraine for many years, speak both Ukrainian and Russian, although as you can see behind me, I'm actually in Estonia. That's the flag on the left there. The right hand flag is the Ukrainian flag. And I'm here with this new channel on geopolitics to give you a more informed, unique, and insightful perspective on the happenings of the Russo-Ukrainian war. So there is obviously a lot of noise, a lot of speculation going on as to what exactly will be the contours of a proposed peace plan by Donald Trump. Donald Trump was inaugurated as the US president for the second time last month. He had claimed that he would solve this war within one day. Obviously that was hyperbole, and now it seems like he's aiming for, well, first it was 100 days, now it seems to be more 6 months is being mooted as the time frame. So far what we can say is that the general contours that have been outlined by either his team or by Donald Trump in his proclamations are that we will see a ceasefire of some sort which will lead to peace negotiations, and that there will be some sort of acceptance of Russian occupation of de jure Ukrainian territory. That would presumably not be a de jure, a legal recognition of those territories being Russian. At the moment, Russia occupies around 17-18% of Ukrainian territory. That includes Crimea and the parts of Donbass that they occupied from before the 2022 extended invasion of Ukraine. On the other hand, it would seem that the possibility of Ukraine joining NATO in the short to medium term would be taken off the table, and that there would be security guarantees given to Ukraine that would be a deterrent to a future Russian invasion. However, what would be a security guarantee? Because back in 1994, when Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and Belarus gave up control of the nuclear weapons, the Soviet nuclear weapons that had been stationed on their territory, they actually got security assurances, it turns out. It wasn't much of an assurance or a guarantee, because Russia completely disregards their obligations under the Budapest Memorandum. They weren't right, the paper they were written on, whether we classify them as security assurances or security guarantees. And if you take NATO membership off the table and protecting Ukraine becomes a European guarantee going forward, then they would not seem to be very credible in terms of actually acting as deterrents. There's also talk of peacekeepers, European peacekeepers, being on the line of contact between Russian and Ukrainian forces, who will presumably retreat a bit. However, the number of troops you would actually need to act as a deterrence there would be quite big. Some of the estimations are around 200,000, although it doesn't seem likely that European countries would be able to provide anything close to that. Maybe 50,000 is what's being suggested. And also you have to remember that Belarus, which has a northern border, well, shares a border to the north of Ukraine, and from where Russia attacked the capital Kyiv with Belarusian acquiescence back in February, March 2022, there would be presumably no peacekeepers standing there in that border, and that could obviously happen again. So the amount of territory that you would need to station troops on is extremely big, and it doesn't seem like the numbers or even the European armies themselves have enough troops to put there for the moment. So not likely that we would see real credible security guarantees or any sort of real deterrence. The other deterrence that Ukraine can get, of course, is nuclear weapons, although I doubt anyone is really suggesting that they do that. It may be something that Ukraine concludes it will have to do at some point in the future, but for now, that is also off the table. So we have those contours. Donald Trump says a lot of grandiose statements, it seems, on a daily basis since he became president, so I'm not sure how much we can really read into them, although he is doubling down on claims that Greenland and Canada, and now it seems Gaza, as I'm filming this video, are going to be taken over by the US. Very unexpected claims, so we might see other bombastic claims coming out of the White House by the end of this security conference, which is this weekend, taking place in Munich in Germany. At the moment, I wouldn't have very high expectations for a realistic peace plan, and we will see whether it is actually an appeasement plan, just like in 1938, which was signed in the city of Munich. So a lot of parallels there. Will be a very interesting week. I don't expect, as I've said, to see a realistic peace plan, but we may see the two parties, Russia and Ukraine, play along with some interest in it as they continue the fighting on the battlefield. Just to recap, Russia faces three major problems this year: lack of manpower, lack of money, and lack of military materiel. They will need solutions to those problems, whilst Ukraine is heavily dependent on support from its allies like the United States and European countries, or maybe as far away in Asia like Japan and South Korea. So both of them at this point probably don't see any real reason to stop the fighting, because they can see that the other side has major problems that they need to overcome and believes that they ultimately will prevail if they don't stop the fighting. So I'll end the video there. Plenty more new content to come. As you can see, I'm in town in Estonia at the moment, but looking forward to getting back very soon to Ukraine itself and giving you a little bit of an insider's perspective from the ground in Ukraine. So, do побачення, до перемоги, and see you in the next video.